What we're going to talk about first is tools of inclusion. Now, inclusion does not necessarily mean just those students who have identified as needing an accommodation. There are a lot of students on higher ed level that have not identified, and that could be because cost or just wanting it to be kept close to the vest, so to speak. There are other students that can benefit from these tools also that maybe do not have a disability but just prefer a different format. Now, one of the first things we're going to talk about is settings. And in settings, you can see we can set the word and sentence color, but we have the population of students that are colorblind. If you're working on a course that is heavy in vocabulary, then you want to use the underline on the word. If it is general reading, then the underline on the sentence. Now, when we are in text mode, our font size goes from -1 to +7, where normal is about a 12 point. We're going to put it on +7. Our fonts go from serif to sans serif to Open Dyslexic. And Open Dyslexic is a relatively newer font, basically came out around 2010, 2012 time frame. And there were other dyslexia fonts that were similar to this before then. This dyslexic font and others like it are very good for dyslexic students because it places a bolding on the letters so that the students can separate the letters themselves and therefore phonetically sound out words. Your younger students maybe have been exposed to some type of dyslexic typeface, whereas your older students maybe have not. In the Dyslexia Awareness Month, which I believe was October, I learned that yellow on black is the best settings for dyslexic students. And if we scroll down, we see things are written on top of each other. In text mode, we can stretch the window so that that is no longer a case. And you can see the bolding or thickening of the text on each individual line. That helps those students phonetically sound it out. Now, that's a bit difficult for me to read, so I'm going to move it to black on light yellow, move this back to Open Sans, and put this back on a +2 font, and we see the screen in this manner. Notice this particular menu bar is on all text blocks. Now let's look at text mode. In text mode, everything is left justified, and we see the colors that we have chosen. We see the menu up here at the top, and what that's doing is it's removing any image that does not have an alt text associated with it. If it is a decorative text, it's gone. If it doesn't have an alt text, it's gone. The other thing is if you had titles on this page or headings on this page, they would be responsive in size based on the font size you have here. I'm going to move this back to normal and black on white, and you can see how quickly you can make those changes without having to go back all the way to your settings to do that.